You know, the beauty of this broadcast and our coverage, Akshita, of course, is that while all of you on the ground are giving us the touch and feel of what this entire process looks like, the heat and dust of the politics, let's never forget that an election is always finally about the numbers. So I want to give you a big picture using India Today's amazing election intelligence dashboard for Andhra Pradesh. I wanted to give you a sense of what that big picture actually looks like. Akshita and our colleagues on the ground have been showing you the big seats and where things are at. But this is what the election to the Lok Sabha in Andhra Pradesh looked like in 2019. The YSRCP had swept the election, winning 22 out of the 25 seats. The Congress ended with 0. The NDA, which now includes Chandrababu Naidu, at that time it did not, had won only 3 seats at that time. The fourth chair also tells its own story, 47% to Chandrababu Naidu, but he was fully reduced to just 3 seats at that time. 50% of the vote share went to an upsurge of the YSRCP, who swept into power at that point of time. Now, there are big VIP seats, like Akshita has been telling you, from the ground in Andhra Pradesh. The seat of Kadapa, where Akshita will be bringing you live images along with Pramod in just a moment, is one of the most high-profile seats because that's where the incumbent Chief Minister's sister, YS Sharmila, who is the state Congress president in Andhra, takes on her very own cousin, YS Avinash Reddy. So this is a hugely interesting election in Andhra Pradesh because you've got both the Lok Sabha election, 25 seats, and the Vidhan Sabha, the assembly elections of 175 seats, both concurrently going to the polls. The YSRCP has been dominant in 2019 in both sides. Could an energetic and galvanized Chandrababu Naidu, now tying up with the Janasena of Pawan Kalyan and the BJP, bring better fortunes for him? We'll have to wait and see. These are the numbers from 2019. The numbers for 2024 are being decided on the ground right now. Akshita, back to you.
Thanks very much, Shiv, for getting us all of those updates. The number crunching for you there by Shiv, explaining to you what the 2019 numbers looked like and why also for the TDP. In 2019, it was a sweep election by YSRCP. This time, the Telugu Desam Party hoping really to do much, much better. Let me open this up and bring our guests in on this broadcast. We've got Jayanta Ghoshal, senior journalist from Kolkata, Rashid Kidwai, who's joining us, also author and political analyst, and T.S. Sudhir, political analyst, joining us from Hyderabad. Sudhir, if I can come across to you, good morning. I hope you've had a chance to go out and vote, because I know that we've kept you with us through the morning coverage. But, you know, brisk voter turnout that we're seeing so far in the urban pockets, and that was largely expected. But it's got Naidu beaming right now, saying this is an indication of anti-incumbency. What do you think?
Well, yes, I mean, the enthusiasm in Andhra Pradesh was very evident from the fact that in the last couple of days, the bus stations in Hyderabad and Bengaluru have been absolutely full. A lot of people who have their votes in their home districts going back from Hyderabad and Bengaluru, where they work, to cast their vote back in Andhra Pradesh. So that shows the kind of interest that is there in the Andhra Pradesh election. The election in Andhra Pradesh always much more volatile, much more, gets a lot of more people interested, given how polarized the politics of Andhra Pradesh is between the Telugu Desam and the YSRCP. So you would have a lot of people going there, and that would probably reflect in the high polling percentage, both in the rural as well as the urban pockets of Andhra Pradesh. Yes, a very important election for the alliance, especially for Chandrababu Naidu, who you spoke to, because he has been out of power for the last 5 years. 2019, the TDP received a mauling at the EVM box office. So it's very important for him to come back and come back with the bang. It's very important, Akshita, to note that the 2 times he got re-elected as Chief Minister in 1999 as well as in 2014 was when he was in an alliance with the BJP as part of the NDA. So will he be third time lucky? That's the big question. Jagan Mohan Reddy preferring to go it alone. So it's pretty much an election where Jagan Mohan Reddy is ranged against a host of other parties. In fact, if you look at the social media posts by the YSRCP, they say that the TDP plus the BJP plus the Janasena plus the Congress, they're all together against YSRCP. So that's how this election has been pitched as, and definitely a high stakes battle both in the assembly as well as in the Lok Sabha election.
Just taking that point forward quickly, Sudhir, with you on alliances. If you look at 2019, yes, it was a sweep by the YSRCP where you see the seats. But if you look at the vote share, it's a very different story. And that led to a lot of questions about whether it was actually a close election that did just reflect in the seats. Is that where alliances will play a crucial role for the TDP in also ensuring that it boosts their vote share?
Well, last time the TDP per se alone had about 40 to 41% vote share, while the YSR Congress was way ahead at around 49%. But yes, if you add the TDP plus the BJP and the Janasena, they would have come close to about 46%. In 2014, also the margin between the two alliances, the TDP and the YSRCP, was just about less than 2%. This time, it will be a test of whether arithmetic trumps over chemistry, because Jagan Mohan Reddy would like to believe that because of his dole-centric politics, as it were, over the past 5 years, he has a better chemistry with the voter, especially in the rural and the semi-rural areas, given the kind of money that has gone into the pockets of almost 85% of the families in Andhra Pradesh. The alliance would really bank on the arithmetic that all of them coming together, three parties coming together, plus the fact that it is clubbed with the national election. So there would be the Modi X factor also coming into play. They would be able to defeat the YSRCP in this election. So definitely an election which is going to go down to the wire. And very interesting, the kind of side contests which are taking place. We had Vijayamma, the mother of Jagan Mohan Reddy, and Sharmila asking people to vote for Sharmila as far as the Kadapa parliamentary election is concerned. We had Jagan Mohan Reddy announcing that Banga Geeta will be the Deputy Chief Minister if she is elected as MLA from Pitapuram, making it very interesting because it's quite possible that Pawan Kalyan could also be Deputy Chief Minister in a potential TDP plus Janasena plus BJP government in Andhra Pradesh and Amravati. So you have in Pitapuram a very unique contest where two contestants, both of them have the potential to be the Deputy Chief Ministers in the next government. So definitely a high stakes and a very interesting contest in many of the constituencies taking place in Andhra Pradesh.
And I think the kind of comments that have been made with regards to the deputy chief ministers, the high voltage campaign that we witnessed on the very last day on Saturday, kind of sets the stage and makes you understand how intense the contest is and how much is at stake. Both parties know that this time around it's perhaps going to go down to the wire, which is why they're making that extra effort, especially in the high profile seats where you've got both parties. If there's a strong leader put up, they've put up their own strong leader saying we're not going to back away from a contest. We've seen that in Kadapa, you're seeing that in Petapuram, here in Vijayawada as well, where you have the Kesari brothers squaring off. So it's very interesting to see that. But remember that in Andhra Pradesh, it's an assembly election plus a general election happening. Rashid Kidwa, if I could bring you in on this broadcast, in such a circumstance of a parliamentary election and a state election happening, how often do you really see voters kind of differentiate between the two and vote differently with regards to a parliament election, assembly election, or is it always the same trend essentially that's followed in both? That if you, for example, here decide to choose the NDA, you choose them both in a state election and you choose them in a parliamentary election? Or are there chances and instances of voters saying, look, we'll vote for YSRCP in the state and the NDA in the centre?
Yes, so Akshita, we have seen in Odisha that voters are voting differently in past election. In Andhra, it's very interesting because if you may recall, in 2004, Atal Bihari Vajpayee, who was a NDA Prime Minister, he advanced poll by 6 months on behalf of Chandrababu Naidu, who wanted state elections to be clubbed with national elections, and the results were disastrous because the NDA lost power and a lot of people blamed Babu, and Babu is back now with NDA. So this is a kind of, again, gamble is there in Andhra Pradesh. It remains to be seen how it plays out. Now, YSR Congress is very well placed at the state level. So therefore, it would be very interesting, how voters vote and if they vote differently for Lok Sabha or for Assembly. And Akshita, you may also recall that YSR Congress was also equally keen to have an alliance with BJP. With 3% vote, BJP had a choice to select between the TDP or YSR Congress. And there is also a prospect that post-elections, maybe YSR Congress number of MPs it would have, they may side with NDA. So Andhra Pradesh is really going to be a kingmaker as far as Delhi is concerned.